Spring Succotash.
And I had a request from the audience that you have to say this in a Daffy Duck voice.
I will not do that.
Suffering Succotash. Is he the one who does it? He won't spit in your food.
Enough like a duck.
What is a Succotash?
So Succotash is almost like, texture-wise, I find it very much like a relish. It has a lot of textural ingredients in it, but it's used more like a salad, more like a side or an accompaniment. Typically with corn. Corn is usually your main typical ingredient, succotash. A lot of times you'll find even squash in there. You'll find peas. You'll find, it's usually around the fall, so it's mostly those fall ingredients. But you can do it with anything, and choosing the season's best, I think, is your best option. So spring, I know it doesn't seem like spring outside, but it's here, and we're starting to see a few things pop up. Especially in Ontario greenhouses, you're starting to see a few more spring items or spring ingredients. So choose those, and you can use this recipe as, like I said, like as a template. Use as the idea, and then use whatever seasonal ingredients come along in that recipe to change it up to suit whatever your flavors are. So I've chosen a few here. I've got some green peas, and you can use the fresh ones when these guys are really fresh and booming. There's nothing that compares to fresh green peas, especially the crunch, the texture, the flavor. Really, really nice. So we're gonna shell a few of those guys in there. Actually, I've already done it. I don't know but it's very, very simple to do. The harder shells, not really edible. I know some people you can blanch them and slice them, but they're super, super fibery.
Could you throw them in your stock?
You can throw them in a stock. I find that these get a little bitter after a while, actually, in a stock. So if you are going to throw them in a stock, finish it in the stock. And we have an amazing vegetable stock recipe, just basic. With the end of the scraps, you can kind of throw them in near the end, maybe like the last 15, 20 minutes. Fava beans too, one of my favorites in the spring. Big green pod, almost like this, and you get these nice little green beans that come out. They have a tough skin on them, which you can eat, but it is pretty fibrous. And it takes a little bit of time to peel raw. So the best way to do this is blanching it. So a little bit of boiling water, you throw it into the boiling water for about a minute tops, take it out, and then right into a nice water bath. And what happens is the skins come off very easy. With your fingers, you can kind of rub them off, and it sets the color. So you have these beautiful, vibrant green fava beans that come out after.
It looks way more appealing that way.
So that's going to go in there. You can choose corn when it's in season. Corn is not the greatest right now, although you can use frozen corn. These aren't Cheetos. Someone yesterday said they look like Cheetos. These are orange cauliflower. It has not been dyed. It's not genetically modified. It's just a variety of cauliflower, and you're starting to see a lot more of them now. Because they're becoming more popular and people are buying them. So you see purple ones, you see green ones, you see your white ones, and you see your orange ones. And what's funny about them is that they actually, depending on their color, they will usually carry that antioxidant.
That's right. We did a great great class on different colors and the types of antioxidants that are in foods. You get a really good clue by looking at the colors. So if you, instead of choosing, to snack on orange carrots, if you mix it up and get some of the purple ones, some of the white or yellow colored ones, you're going to get a wider array of antioxidants.
And so I'm just dressing it lightly just with a little bit of olive oil. The main component of the dressing here obviously is the maple syrup. Where's the maple syrup? So what I've done here, because it takes a little bit of time, I've reduced a little bit of balsamic vinegar and maple syrup. So just adding about half a cup of balsamic vinegar, about a tablespoon of maple syrup, you don't need much, in a small sauce pot. Bring it up to a boil. As soon as you see it bubbling, reduce it down to a medium-low and let it reduce for about 10-15 minutes. The liquid should cut down by half, pretty much. And what you're looking for is this. And as it cools, it'll get even thicker. But this is like super, super, super thick.
Ew, it has a skin.
Yeah. This is very thick. I didn't even think it was going to come down this thick. So you can even go a little lighter on this. But it's a delicious dressing, and you have the tang from the vinegar plus the sweetness from the maple syrup and a little bit from the balsamic vinegar as well.
Was the maple syrup in there just 1 teaspoon?
Yeah, but one teaspoon. I mean, or sorry, tablespoon. Sorry, about a
Tablespoon,
tablespoon. Yeah. You don't even need maple syrup. If you were to reduce balsamic on its own, it'll still get this thick because there's a sugar content in there. The maple syrup, you're adding that a little bit
Delicious
more. Yeah,
flavor,
a little more
a
maple
bit more
flavor, a
sweetness.
little more sweetness, exactly. So we got our salad here, kind of just composing it on. You can throw a few greens. These are pea shoots, which are, again, you can find them at most grocery stores now. Super, super, super tasty. They taste like fresh peas, pretty much. So those are gonna go on. You can throw, arugula on or something like that. And wow, this is really, really thick, but pretty much, this could take a while. Okay, here we go.
A very slow
Yeah.
drizzle.
This cooled down actually much thicker than I thought it would. I think I had it on a little longer, but about 10 minutes or so, and it'll look still very liquidy when you take it off, but that's because it's warm.
Yeah.
As it cools, there we go. All right.
So what antioxidants are in maple syrup? I keep mentioning antioxidants. There are over 50 that have been found in Canadian maple syrup, which is pretty interesting. And similar types to the types of antioxidants and polyphenols that are found in red wine and berries. So maple syrup falls somewhere between raw tomatoes and broccoli on terms of its antioxidant content. So the fact that a sweetener is even in the same ballpark as fruits and vegetables is pretty exciting. Question? Yeah?